That's the only word bold enough to describe what Starship is becoming. And at the center of that transformation is an engine that refuses to stop evolving. For over a year, the world has been waiting for Raptor 3, the engine set to launch Starship into its first true orbital missions, and even carry astronauts on NASA's lunar landings. It was supposed to represent the next era of power, efficiency, and reliability. But SpaceX never treats next as final. Just as Raptor 3 prepares for its debut, another upgrade is already casting a long shadow over everything we thought we knew. A leap so ambitious that it pushes engineering beyond today's limits. The emerging monster we now call Raptor 4. More thrust, more efficiency, more capability to reshape Starship's missions, from deep space refueling to hauling unprecedented payloads off the Earth. And the wildest part? SpaceX is already teasing it before Raptor 3 even reaches full flight operations. Today, we're breaking down why this new engine generation is leaving even NASA stunned, how SpaceX plans to push past the 300-ton thrust barrier, and why this upgrade could redefine the timeline for reaching the Moon and Mars. You're watching Space Update 24 Hours, where we follow every breakthrough, every test, and every bold step that brings the future a little closer. Let's dive right in. When SpaceX lays out a roadmap, it rarely looks like a straight line. It's more like a series of accelerating leaps, each bigger than the last. And 2026 marks the moment when many of those leaps converge. After years of testing, rapid prototyping, and relentless iteration, Starship is finally edging toward the missions it was built for. True orbital flights, operational payload runs, and propellant transfer demonstrations that will unlock deep space travel. At the center of this long-awaited phase is Raptor 3, a 280-ton thrust engine built around the full-flow stage combustion cycle, the most efficient engine architecture flying today. Its redesign stripped away clutter, reduced mass, and eliminated the old external heat shield entirely. Everything from wiring to sensors is tucked deep inside the engine, where the hardware naturally shields itself from punishing heat. What used to need armor now survives through smart engineering alone. Raptor 3 marked the moment when SpaceX finally achieved the balance it had been chasing for years. Simpler, stronger, cheaper, faster to reuse. Most companies would pause here, enjoy the achievement, and scale up production. But SpaceX doesn't warm up to the idea of staying still. Before Raptor 3 even flew on a full orbital mission, Elon Musk was already hinting at the next escalation, one that would push performance into territory no methane engine has ever reached. That leap is Raptor 4, and its intent is clear. Raise the ceiling so high that the old limits stop mattering. This new engine generation is expected to break past the 300-ton threshold and surge to roughly 330 tons of thrust, an 18% jump over Raptor 3 stacked beneath a super heavy booster. 33 of these engines could generate nearly 10,900 tons of thrust. And if the design is expanded to 35 engines, that number climbs past 11,500 tons, more than triple the force that carried humans to the Moon on Saturn V. But raw power is just the beginning of the story. What Raptor 4 truly represents is capacity. Capacity for Starship tankers to haul more propellant to orbit. Capacity for the HLS lunar lander to begin a mission with deeper fuel reserves. Capacity for fewer tanker flights, which is critical because refueling is the cornerstone of every future Moon and Mars mission. Today, NASA estimates that Artemis 3 could require around 15 Starship tanker launches to fill a lander. That number exists because current engine performance limits what each tanker can lift. Raptor 4 shifts that math dramatically. Stronger thrust means heavier propellant loads on every flight. Higher efficiency means Starship itself needs less propellant to reach the same objectives. Together, those changes shave down the number of launches required, cutting logistical complexity, cost, and risk all at once. And efficiency truly is the quiet force driving Raptor 4's evolution. SpaceX keeps pushing chamber pressure higher, refining internal cooling channels, and reshaping components through advanced 3D printing. With each new generation, engineers remove more unnecessary parts, integrate more functions, and tighten the entire engine layout. The result is hardware that's safer, lighter, and easier to reuse, an essential step toward making Starship a high-frequency orbital system. These refinements are not theoretical. The production story behind Raptor is one of the most dramatic transformations in modern aerospace. Raptor 1 took roughly 11 days to build. When Raptor 2 arrived, that shrank to 2 days, then 1. By the end of 2022, SpaceX was assembling engines at a pace no one believed possible, 1 per day. Since then, the manufacturing line has only become more precise, more automated, and more data-driven. Raptor 4 continues that philosophy. Fewer parts mean fewer inspections. Cleaner internal routing means less maintenance. And stronger thermal margins mean each engine can survive longer burns during in-orbit refueling or extended lunar operations. The current reuse record for a Raptor sits at 3 flights, but that is a baseline, not a limit. With Raptor 4, the expectation is to fly far more cycles before a major overhaul is needed. And this forward momentum doesn't stop at engines. Starship's structure itself is evolving. Version 4 concepts point toward a taller upper stage, expanded pressurized volume, and more total propellant capacity, about 450 tons in the booster and 2,300 tons in the ship, hundreds more than earlier designs. With 42 engines on the full stack, including 3 vacuum Raptors with enlarged nozzles targeting an ISP around 380 seconds, Starship gains flexibility in space, smoother orbital burns, and increased margin for complex deep space maneuvers. All of these upgrades converge into a single idea, making space operations routine instead of rare. The kind of routine where sending 200 tons to orbit isn't a miracle, it's a Tuesday. The kind where refueling a ship heading to Mars is not an event, but a straightforward checklist item. But behind these technical leaps is something less visible and just as important: the mindset driving them. Musk talks often about iteration as if it's a natural instinct, learning quickly, refining constantly, and treating failure as usable data. SpaceX has burned through prototypes, test stands, and countless early generation parts not out of carelessness, but because each destroyed engine revealed something valuable about how the next one should work. That mindset is why Raptor evolved so quickly, why the engines grew simpler instead of more complicated, why production accelerated instead of slowing down under complexity, and why Raptor 4 already feels like the next stepping stone toward an engine that could one day power weekly Mars transports or high-cadence lunar supply runs. None of this is accidental. None of it is a side quest. The message woven through every upgrade is unmistakable. SpaceX is engineering the hardware that makes a multi-planet future physically achievable, economically realistic, and operationally repeatable. As Raptor 4 takes shape, it's becoming clear that this isn't just another upgrade. It's the engine that pushes Starship closer to the missions once considered out of reach. Smoother refueling operations, heavier payloads, and the kind of reliability you need when crews are traveling far beyond Earth. Every improvement in power, cost, and reusability reinforces the same message. SpaceX is building a system meant to fly often, recover quickly, and carry humanity farther than ever before. The story of Raptor has always been a story of refusing to settle. From early test failures to producing engines at record speed, each step has carved a path toward a future where lunar landings and Mars missions aren't rare milestones, but regular achievements. And with Raptor 4, that future feels closer, more tangible, and more within our reach than any time in the past decade. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to keep following every leap in SpaceX's journey, make sure to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Space Update 24 Hours so you never miss a new update on the engines and missions shaping our next chapter in space.